Hey guys, Alan Hain here, the Lawn Care Nut, with another lawn tip. Now today we're going to talk about how to fertilize the lawn. That's right, actually how to apply fertilizer to a lawn. Now you'll see that I only use broadcast spreaders. That's because number one, that's what professionals use. But number two is I'm able to get a nice wide swath, and I'm going to have a lot less risk of dropping too much fertilizer in one spot. So you've got your broadcast spreader. Now the next thing is going to be walking speed. The ideal speed is 3.5 miles per hour. So what does that look like? Well, it's kind of a double fast walk. That's the best way to describe it. You want to kind of put some ass into it when you're walking. The reason that you want to walk fast is so that the fertilizer is thrown out consistently wide and flat. If you go slow, the fertilizer will tend to be thrown out like this in kind of this umbrella pattern, and that's not going to give us a consistent application. The other thing is you need to keep the speed consistent. If you go fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, then your spreading will be wide and not so wide, and wide and not so wide. And that's also not going to give us a consistent application. So it's very important that you do a double fast walk, 3.5 miles per hour, and that you keep a consistent speed. So put some ass into it all the way till the end. So you've got your broadcast spreader and you're ready to go with your walking speed. There is another video I did that I'm going to link below here, which is called How Much Fertilizer Do I Put on the Lawn? Because walking speed aside, adjustments on the spreader aside, none of that really matters if you're not putting down the right amount. So look below for that link so you understand also how much fertilizer you should be putting on the lawn. Alright, so now we're ready to go. Obviously wear your personal protective equipment, PPE, whatever is required on the bag of fertilizer you have. Get that stuff in the hopper and let's get going. So the first thing we want to do is what's called a trim pass. A trim pass is basically exactly what it sounds like. You're going to fertilize all the way around all the edges of the lawn. The reason we want to do this is because we want to try to keep as much material off the sidewalks as possible. Now, some spreaders have actually an edge guard that comes down, and that's great, but most don't. So what you do is you do this trim pass, and you want the edge of your fertilizer to be thrown right to the edge of the sidewalk or driveway. And usually, like my spreader gives me about a 5-foot swath. Okay, yours is going to be different. Just depends. They're all a little different. You got to understand that. Mine gives me about a 4 to 5 foot swath. So I know that I need to be a couple feet in from the edge, and that I'm throwing out right to where the driveway is. And then obviously you got to keep your eye on the inside part of your swath as well. So once you've done your trim pass, now you're going to just walk a grid. And the key is that you start and you throw back to the wheel marks of the last pass. So watch as I illustrated here with these orange arrows and lines. You can see that my pass here is about 2.5 feet over from the previous wheel marks, and you can see those pretty easily on the grass. And I'm throwing fertilizer right back to those wheel marks. Now what you're going to do is just go back and forth and back and forth, okay, all the way around, and each time you want to throw the fertilizer back to the wheel marks of the previous pass. It's really that simple. So here are the keys. It's really this simple, guys, okay? Broadcast spreader. Make sure that you have a consistent walking speed of 3.5 miles per hour, which we would call a double fast walk, putting some ass into it. Do a trim pass first so your edges are all covered nice and even, and then throw fertilizer back to the wheel tracks of the previous pass each time. If you can do that, you will have succeeded in applying fertilizer properly. After that, go back and watch my video on how much fertilizer do I put on the lawn, and realize, did you put down the right amount? If you can master that, you're going to be good. Now listen, it's not complicated. This is a barrier to entry for a lot of people. They think that applying fertilizer is difficult, and probably the first time it is. But once you've done this a couple times and you see what it feels like and what it looks like and how the results are, you'll be just fine. I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut, with a simple but important lawn tip today. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the lawn.